Now, some of you guys, by now you should be asking yourself as to why do I discuss a lot of the US stocks on this channel and not many South African stocks? Well, those of you that have been following me for some time, you already know that I did a video a month or two ago where I was showing you why I invest in the US more than I do in South Africa. Well, to those that have not probably watched that video, I'll recommend that you go watch that, as the main reason or the main point I was driving or indicating or showing why I do that is because of the US economy. It's because of how big the US economy is compared to our local economy, which GDP wise I've already explained to that video to say that our GDP goes in, or it is 77 times the GDP of the US, which is something that must just show you that the US is very, very strong when it comes to GDP, which is one of the main reasons I explained on this video as to why I am investing in the US stocks. And another thing, of course, which I emphasize is the point of saying that one or some of the industries there are booming, but here in South Africa, those industries, some of them have not or are still in early stages, which is why that side it makes sense for me to invest that side, as those industries that side are already booming. I mean, I made an example of the EV industry. I'm not sure I also made an example about the fintech or the fast growing fintech industry. That side, those industries, the EV, the fast growing fintech industries are booming, whereas this side in South Africa, you remember that the president last year announced that this year they are targeting to sell around 4,000, or Toyota will be targeting to sell around 4,000 EVs, which is something that must just show you that in some of the industries our country is way behind. But what if I told you that that is not the only reason I invest in the US stocks or put my money in the US markets? Well, before we get to another one of the main reasons or good reasons I invest in the US, please note that this video is just an entertainment video and you should not take it as a professional financial advice video. And now I would really appreciate it if you can hit that likes button if you're enjoying this video, as it helps with YouTube's algorithm. And of course, if you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Now, without wasting any more time, another main reason why I invest in the US or more in the US is simply because of the exchange rate, the ZAR to USD exchange rate. I mean, I am one of the person that takes a lot of advantage when there's ZAR, or when our currency, which is the ZAR or the South African rand, it is strong. I mean, you remember that 10 days ago, ZAR to USD or the rand to USD was around 14 rands and 50 cents, which when one looks at that, you will definitely say that the rand was very strong comparing or when looking to the USD, which is why, I mean, how many times have you read articles of saying that investors are taking their money offshore? Investors are taking their money to the US because of this. This is some of the things that when I realized the power, the potential that lies with just this. I mean, we are not talking of investing, we are just taking about you taking your money to the US. We are not talking of buying shares, but we are just talking of transferring money into your USD account. It can simply grow your money, because right now, if you noticed, yesterday's I was trading around 15 rands and 92 cents against the dollars, which is something that must just show you that had you invested or put your money there in the US stock market or transfer your money into the US market when the ZAR was trading at 14 rands and 50 cents, you would probably be sitting, by just this transaction 10 days ago till now, you would be, your money would have grown by around 7.85%, which is something that I think it's a very good growth. I mean, this is one of the things that I think as investors you should also strive to capitalize on this. When you see our ZAR stronger, you should take that opportunity to probably transfer some of your money at that side, because when your ZAR or when our South African rand is stronger, then I think you should consider taking your money or some of your money into the US, because when the ZAR becomes weaker, you also make some money just on that, which is something that I believe you should take or start taking into consideration, because those of you that invested or took some of your money 10 days ago in the US, and not even, I'm not talking, like I said, I'm not talking of buying any share, just taking your money that side and put it there, you have just gained around 7.85% just within the period of these 2 days. Now, if you have to check the history of the ZAR, this is where you will see power of you taking some of your money into the US. I mean, 10 years ago, the South African rand was around 7 rands and 75 cents, and 2015, as soon as you notice that the South African rand then became 11 rand and 38 cents. Then April 2020, it went to over 19 rands, and today, guys, it is trading around 15 rands and 92 cents. This just simply means that if you had to check the trend, this ZAR to USD, or our South African rand against the USD, it looks like over time it is becoming weaker and weaker as the years goes by, which is something that I think personally it is going to continue, simply because the US economy continue to be much stronger. The US economy continue to be way stronger than our economy, which is why I think the trajectory will still remain the same, the trend will still remain the same. Probably in the next 5 to 10 years, we might see the ZAR or our South African rand trading at 20 rands against the dollar, which, if you are to take that opportunity, or if you are to have or to see that opportunity right now and invest or take some of your money in the US, you are definitely going to reap the good benefit of this exchange rate, which is something that I really want to stress it out to you on this video today. Well, let's say, for instance, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years in your USD account, you have got $10,000, which probably you took it, or your average transfer from that to that USD account was around 15 rands. It simply means that from 15 to 20 rands, it's 25%. So it simply means that that $10,000 which you transfer to your USD account at a rate of 15 rands will be now worth, or would have grown by 25%, which, if you have to put it into perspective, it just simply means that you would have generated $2,500 more from your initial $10,000 of investments. And I'm not talking of capital growth, because I'm assuming you don't buy anything in the US, of which we know it's very difficult. Besides the capital gains that you might get from some of your investments, you get this 25% by just the fact that you have your money in the US stock markets, or in the US portfolio, which is something that is amazing, because $2,500, it is approximately 50, or it would be approximately 50,000 rand when you multiply that $2,500 by 20. This is something that is interesting and wonderful. And I remember I discovered this a year ago, and I must tell you, I'll be honest with you, that ever since I discovered this, I make sure that when the rand becomes stronger against the US, I make sure that I pile as much as possible. It has even led me to trim some of my ZAR investments so that I capitalize on the fact that the rand, it is stronger, or was stronger against the US at that point. Which, one of the things, I mean, I was sitting on the screen and noticed that even if you are to check some of the transaction I make on Easy Equity, which is the broker I use, you'll notice that I've got transactions of around 14 rands and 80 something cents, which is something that must just show you that this is an opportunity I look for. In as much as I do transfer, yes, when the ZAR is weaker due to some of the opportunities or capital gains that I am seeing that side on some of the companies or US companies, but I really like prioritize or try to take as much as I can when the ZAR on our South African rands becomes stronger comparing to the US, which is something that I believe you should also practice, because this also gives, or will give you, returns. How many times have you seen the markets not moving, probably in the US, but see your money increasing or even decreasing due to the exchange rate, or due to the ZAR USD exchange rate? This is something that you must take into consideration. This is something that I believe it can also take you a step closer into financial freedom. And those of the people that, or those people that were taking their ZAR money into the USD 10 years ago when the ZAR was around $7.75 against the US are sitting over 100% by just taking their money to the US. So if they had the sum of their investments at that side, on top of maybe capital gains that might have, or that they might have gained due to the values of their assets going higher, they have also a capital or 100% from just the exchange rate from ZAR to USD. So I personally believe that this trend, like I said, it is going to continue, because guess what? That's what the trend has been doing for the past decade, or for the past I don't know how many years. This is something that we've always seen, and I believe that if you're a long-term investor, then you should also consider taking some of your monies into the US, as you will also benefit from this. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I just thought I should just share this tip which I've seen, or which I've discovered when investing in the stock market. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button. And that's all from me, and I will see you in my next video, and God bless you all.